Late today, the family of 21-year-old Jared Dittmar says he has died. He was critically injured in a spearfishing accident last weekend. His family allowing several of his organs to be harvested for 3 Floridians in critical need. It happened on July 4th under the Ringling Causeway Bridge. Dittmar's and a friend out for an afternoon of fun when he was accidentally shot in the head. The incident proved challenging for Sarasota first responders.
Sarasota County firefighters say 21-year-old Jared Dittmars was spearfishing with a friend on Saturday when he bumped the friend's gun, causing it to deploy and pierce his skull. The Sarasota County Fire Department responded to what they say was an unusual call for help on the causeway connecting Sarasota to St. Armands and Lido Key.
When the crews got on scene, the young man's friend had already pulled him out of the water, so they stabilized the spear, they stabilized the patient's head and neck on a backboard.
First aid was administered. Then came the issue of how to get Dittmars into the rescue unit with a spear protruding from his head.
We ended up turning him around and placing him in feet first on what we call the squad bench.
Once in the ambulance, 6 firefighters positioned themselves to ensure the patient was stable for the trip to Sarasota Memorial Hospital.
The spear was protruding into the area of the ambulance where the stretcher would normally be, so we had to be very aware of that spear sticking out, that nobody bumped it or hit it on the way into the hospital. And we were actually holding onto each other's belts from behind to ensure that it didn't get bumped or hit.
Meanwhile, Squad 8, the department's special operations team, was on its way to meet the ambulance at the hospital.
It's not a call that we typically hear, that units are typically dispatched to, and the special operations team, particularly Squad 8, has specialized equipment on it for these types of calls.
The hospital staff and Sarasota Fire Department personnel worked together once the ambulance carrying Dittmars arrived.
We collectively agreed between myself, the surgeon, and the special operations crew that we would go ahead and cut the spear shaft off with the patient still in the back of the ambulance, and that decision was ultimately made by the trauma surgeon. He wanted it cut off before we moved him anymore.
The special operations team went to work.
The spear shaft is approximately 4 feet long, and so we had to remove quite a bit of the shaft so the patient could be moved into the hospital and put into the CT scan.
Azure O'Neill, SNN, the Suncoast News Network.
Dittmar's family issued a statement thanking the community for its kindness and support in the tragedy and hope spearfishing regulations will be toughened.